So I'm just out gathering some midwinter wild food. So just going to dig up a bull thistle. So it's still in its first year, hasn't sort of sprouted up into a big tall plant. So down at the bottom of that is a root, a bit like parsnip or carrot, only it's sort of white. And it's got some food and health benefits. And these leaves actually, if you scrape off all the spikes, the inside of that is a bit like celery. It's crispy, juicy. But I'll just go for the root today. So I'm just gonna better to do this with a spade, but it's brought a trowel today. So that's it. So in there is food. Reasonably pleasant. You can boil it up or put it in a soup. So that's the root. It's often just in one piece like a parsnip, but this one's spread out a wee bit. So I'll have that in my soup tonight. A bit more of it here. So they can get quite large too. This is another bull thistle. And this is mallow. It's quite common. I think this is giant mallow. Fairly ordinary flavour wise, no real flavour, but lots of vitamin A. It's got a, saw some purple flowers. Helps identify it. There you go. So right beside the bull thistle and mallow is this little plant. It's called bittercress. So it's part of the mustard family. And very peppery, very bit gritty. Quite a potent mustardy, peppery flavour. I love all those wild mustard plants. So there's plenty of that grows around damp areas near the river. There's some more edible food, plantain, narrow leaf plantain. There's some broadleaf plantain around here as well. So that's very nutritious, good in a salad, put it in a soup. So it's quite a frost this morning, -4 degrees centigrade. So here's the rosette version of evening primrose. So I ate the leaves on a salad, and if I dig up the root, it's a bit like a carrot or parsnip shape. Slightly mucilaginous, a bit slimy when you boil it, but quite nutritious. So it's I'll just dig this up. Alright, so that's the evening primrose leaf rosette and root. It's got a slight sort of reddish pinkish tinge around the top, which helps to identify it, but quite a distinctive leaf pattern. And that root is nutritious, not necessarily greatly tasty, but I'll just pop that whole lot into a soup tonight. Root and leaves. Evening primrose. So some more evening primrose. And some more here. Oops. There's another good one there. So I'll just have the one for now. Come back anytime. So here we've got a bull thistle and parsnip beside each other. covered in frost. So I'll dig up, I want the parsnip really, but I'll dig up this little thistle root as well, bull thistle. Not a lot of action in the garden at this time, midwinter, but there's plenty of plants still thrive out in the wild. So that's the bull thistle root, so I'll clean that up, show you. And there's a parsnip here. They've got very deep roots. There we go. So that's a proper parsnip, just like you buy in the shop. I don't always eat the leaves, I'll keep some of the younger ones. They're a bit nutty, reasonably tasty. And that'll clean up to be a lovely sweet parsnip in tonight's soup. Where's my thistle root? Here we go. That's 2 parsnip, 2 evening primrose. You can see that little pink band around the top of the root, and 2 small bull thistles. So it's quite a good growth of coral fungus here. So these are quite dainty little fingers of fungus, just popping up through the grass and the pine leaves. I used to think they weren't worth the trouble because they're not very big, but they're actually quite tasty. They've got a lovely texture in a soup. So if you pick a little tub of those and add them to a soup, they're actually very pleasant. So I'll pick a little tub of those. Right, here's a perfect little watercress stream. So it's fast flowing, stony bottomed, clean water, nothing in industrial upstream, and it's got some lovely fresh watercress growing inside. Wonderful stuff. Fresh watercress, Nasturtium officinale it's called. So wonderful on a salad, wonderful in a soup. Right, so after a wonderful morning's foraging, this is supper tonight. Bit of leftover wild goat soup or stew, and in that I'm going to put parsnip from this morning. Wild parsnip, evening primrose, root and leaves, and these are chunks of the bull thistle. And I'm going to use all the coral fungi from today. They give it a lovely texture. They've got an interesting smell and a reasonable flavour. And got a bunch of fresh wild watercress there from the stream this morning, and some more wild turnip leaves. So heat this up, chop those up, put them in, and that'll be a feast tonight. And of course the wild wine to go with it. This one is quite wild. Feijoa. Feijoa is a bit of an odd fruit, strange flavours, but I've got a tree full of them. So Feijoa, quince, rhubarb with herbs, roots, blossoms, spices. It's only 14.8%, so not a strong one. Very different, very drinkable. Wonderful. So there you go, more wild supper, wild food, wild wine. Sláinte.